Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukener certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.
Welcome to round 10 of this fascinating championship. We find ourselves in the lush green countryside of Northern Ireland. The Hinch Whisky Distillery, very much part of the furniture around here. What an impressive building it is. And the technology that goes into whisky making these days defies belief. Very important place, lovely facility here. Professor Frank Partridge, the man who invented the defibrillator. So if you've ever had heart problems, this is the man who will get you out of trouble. What an invention that was. The scenery is just such a spectacle, but there's water everywhere. We've had a lot of rain. What's it done to the track? Kicked off in Spain. Talavera de la Reina was amazing. Marvin van Lukener took his success, his winning form, into Torres Novas in Portugal. Then, in the deep sand of Herda, it was Koen Herman's turn to shine on home ground. Back in France, van Lukener was on winning form again and carried this form on, but then Herman's again successful. Hermans van den Bogart on top of the box in Estonia. Etienne Bax, André Chomak were coming fast. They had a great ride in Poland to take victory and the fight back to the championship. Lommel was another good one for them. They've really got that husky sorted in the deep sand. Victory again for Bax and Chomak. The fast Strasbessenbach. What a track that was, and what a Grand Prix we had in Germany. Tough going, huge crowd, and the spectacle of Sidecarcross was welcomed by everyone.
Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard had another strong weekend in Germany, holding their 4th place in the World Championship. They're having a great season. But Brett, if I'm honest, you don't always make it easy for yourself, do you? You have to work really hard sometimes, maybe get out of the gauge a bit quicker.
Yeah, definitely need to work on the starts. In Lommel there was pretty good, but in Germany last week there was pretty bad really, and we made it a lot of hard work for ourselves, and then especially in the first heat we had to come from way back, and yeah, you need to start at the front and then it's half the race is done really, yeah.
What about this track here? I'm sure you've had a quick look at it. It's a bit like, if I can say so, the tracks back home about 40 years ago, you know?
Yeah, it's old school, bit of off camber and on the grass. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be different. Every track we ride now has been power harrowed or is sand, so yeah, it's definitely different.
Well, look how wet it is. Wilkinson loves it.
Stuart Brown and Nathan Cooper started the season strongly, but in Spain injured his foot. Stuart had to retire from Portugal. Last weekend in Germany was the first GP back for Stuart. Stuart, it was a tough track, a fast track, but given you've been away for so long, you did very well.
Yeah, we were happy really with the end result. Always want more. Felt we could have done better, but the fitness wasn't there, and still struggling really just to get back to race fit to do the 30-minute race. So yeah, we're getting there slowly.
You've had a look at the track here in Northern Ireland this weekend. It's going to be softer going. Do you think that'll be easier to cope with?
No, not necessarily. I think it looks a fast track, and again everybody's going to be a similar speed, but I mean it depends how the track pans out. Hopefully it's better for the lefts, but no, it'll be what it'll be, and we'll do what we can.
What's your mindset, given the number of years you've been doing it, and we now know your age, we won't talk about it, but retirement's not even a word you contemplate at the moment, is it?
No, we just take every race and it comes really. I mean, I still feel like I can do it. If there's a problem I wouldn't do it. And the age isn't really, it's just a number, it's just something, you just get older, and I still feel like I'm 21 in my brain. But obviously, yeah, I mean, you do start thinking about other things, but at the moment I'm not, which is still good.
I'm delighted to have with me for this little track talk this week Dan Foden, who's been off, as you well know, back last week in Germany. you've lost none of your speed, and this little track this weekend's going to sort everybody out, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I think it's going to sort the men from the boys. Rode really well today, worked for us. We got a good start. Led for a while, which is the first time I've led anything at a World Championship. So I was really happy with it. It works well.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I mean, looking up there, Dan, there's a hill up that side. This is the flat one, but it's grass. It's a really tough call to know where to start from, isn't it?
Yeah, we started over on this side, and I wasn't sure sat behind the gate, but as soon as we got going, I thought, yeah, that's worked quite well.
Is there a drive up here? Despite
Yeah.
all this grass, it grips well.
Yeah, it does grip well. It worked out well for us. So.
And of course, with a left-hand chair, you can throw it into that corner with gay abandon to a point, can't you?
Yeah, exactly that. That's what. There was a bit of carnage behind us. I think Heinz had caught our rear wheel and sort of come into Cuban, and they come off, but
He was up in.
done me a favour, it did.
Yeah, and it looks as though it suits the left chairs. Where on the track is it not good for you?
You've got this right-hander just here, that's off-cambered, and we can go into it quite well, but when we come out, we struggle to get into a line. We haven't really cut a line in yet, so that might change tomorrow, especially with a bit of rain, but at the minute, that wasn't working for us. But the first half of the track's really good for us, so yeah, that was good.
I tell you what, only takes one mistake and I'm going to be on my backside.
Yeah, don't do that.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Quali Group A then, Group A getting off the line. This is a very difficult, muddy start here. Who's going to get the whole shot? Well, I'm looking at Marco Heinzer. Marco Heinzer in the... Oh, there's a massive upside down. That's Justin Kerben. Kerben, Dion Rietman turned over at turn 1, but it's Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey getting the whole shot here in the opening qualifying race. Heinzer Betshot, then it's Davy Sanders, then it's Stuart Brown. Stefan Wyers there. Stefan Wyers, Luik van der Putten, the 418 crew. Oh, look at that. Where's Van Lukener? Van Lukener right there behind Wyers, the red plate holder, the championship leader. He's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's in 7th place. 7th place. But what a flyer for Dan Foden. Great start by Stuart Brown as well. Just the second one back after that long layoff since Spain, really. That's when the foot injury started. Van Lukener, Nicolas Mousset, still finding it difficult to get past Stefan Wyers. Stuart Brown, Wyers, there's Van Lukener on the inside over the jump. He's got to find a way past now. Side by side, high in the air, drops it on the inside into the right-hander and takes the place. That's how easy it is when you are world champion designate. And I say designate because, as we all know in this game, it is the uncertainty that is certain. Does that make sense? Stuart Brown, Nathan Cooper, the 888 crew, with Van Lukener now alongside. A good start by Stuart Brown, but Van Lukener, left chair versus right chair. Right chair goes through, shoves it in. That's it. How quick do you want it? That was amazing stuff. Over these bumps, this track is riding really well. They've had days and days of rain, but because the ground is so wet, it absorbs the water more readily, if that makes sense. This is about points. It's not about points, it's about places for the grid position for the Grand Prix races. Koen Hermans, Ben van der Bogart, first time we've really had a good look at them in this race. They're now behind Stuart Brown. Koen Hermans, third in the championship coming here, but a good distance behind the second place of Etienne Bax. Stuart Brown with his left-hand chair, doing a good job here, fending off the challenge from Koen Hermans, and still Stefan Wyers. Look at the 418 crew, there's Hermans, but that's no good, that's a long way round. Can he cut back in and go on the inside track? He's looking. Stuart Brown being very canny here and closed the door neatly on Koen Hermans. Degree of frustration, that's Heinzer. Heinzer looked as though he was in the fence there. The Swiss crew, Heinzer Betshot, surely in trouble there. Brown and Cooper, there's Hermans, threw it in on the inside, through he went. Brown fought back, but he left the door wide open, and the Dutch pair went through. Hermans van den Bogart now in pursuit. In pursuit of Van Lukenen. They're fighting up. They've got quite a lot to do here because Davy Sanders and Kerben had a good start. Heinze still charging. Well, back in business, as I say, for Heinze and Betchart. There, Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey. Not race fit, it's fair to say. They've had that long layoff since the May accident at an Open International in France. They came back in Strasbourg. Now Van Lukenen is having a good look and Hermans is going with them. There's Sanders, number 9, Davy Sanders, Luke Rostang ahead of Marvin Van Lukenen. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey disappearing round the corner in front of them. What a race we've got here. What a track. It's really lending itself to the action. Van Lukenen is on a mission. His lap speeds are so high, lapping quicker than anyone else with a best time of 2:04. That's almost 2 seconds clear of Davy Sanders' time. Terrific speed by Van Lukenen and Mousset. There's Sanders, there's Foden. Is he aware of what's going to happen? They're going to be swarming all over him. Hermans, Sanders behind. There Foden, here they come. Van Lukenen now closing down the number 10 British crew who started so strongly to lead this one. What a start that was for Foden and Humphrey. Tight track, very old school, a bit like Hoik when we were in Belgium 2019. There's Van Lukenen on the inside. That's the way to do it. Throw it in, push the sidecar out. Nobody's going to come past on the chair wheel, are they? Foden then on Hermans, so gone down 2 places in one fell swoop. Still Dan Foden riding strongly. Marvin Van Lukenen really on a mission here with Koen Hermans fighting as hard as he can, tooth and nail. Oh, Hermans! What? It stopped! Hermans has stopped again. Is that lanyard trouble? What is that? Fuel pump? I've no idea. But that's promoted Sanders and Dan Foden up a place, both of them. Sanders now alongside Dan Foden. So Davy Sanders up into second place here at the moment. And coming through the pack, Kerben, Justin Kerben, after being tipped upside down at the start, is fighting his way through. Dan Foden has now got Hermans back for company. There's Kerben, the red shirts, as they leapt past the camera. They are making progress up the field like you would not believe. Hermans then past Dan Foden. Sanders ahead of him. So Hermans now recovered whatever that temporary problem was. It slowed them down, but he's back in business. Past Sanders again. So Hermans once again on a charge here. But Justin Kerben is coming. This track at Redbrae Park. There's Kerben Dion Rietman. Now they're alongside Foden. They're going to surely take that place. The speed they've been going, their lap time in the 2:04s as well, so they're riding as quickly as Van Lukenen at the sharp end of the race, the number 7 crew. Stefan Wise, Marco Heinze having their own private battle. Seems to suit the left-hand chairs, but the problem is when you're behind someone, one thing catching them up, another thing getting past, but Heinze has done it with an impeccable degree of passing on there. How good was that? Heinze Betchart. Not a trace of mud to be seen, despite all the water we've had. There's even a bit of dust kicking up on the corners now. This is astonishing. Race leader, Van Lukenen, Marvin Van Lukenen, Nicolas Mousset take victory in qualifying Group A. Who's going to make it home in second? Well, we're looking at Hermans, but Davy Sanders is the one to get it. Davy Sanders in second place. There's Kerben. So where has Hermans gone again? Hermans in trouble again. Ended up 5th. Van Lukenen, Sanders, Kerben, Foden, Hermans, Heinze, Stefan Wise. What a ride. Stuart Brown in the top 10. Gordiev, fantastic qualifying Group A. Justin, that start is very short, very difficult, and as you found out, you have to be careful.
Yeah, the start is a bit dangerous. I think on the inside the track is a bit higher. So when you go into the turn, a lot of teams coming together, and we were on the outside, and some guys hit us, and we crashed.
But what an incredible fight back! You certainly have the speed, so that really looks good for tomorrow.
Yeah, normally tracks like this, grass fields are not my type of tracks, but it's okay. The speed is there today. First place in pre-qualify, so yeah, I'm looking forward to for tomorrow if we get a bit of a better start.
Group B then, lining up. Etienne Bax is in this one. He's starting where? In the middle of the pack, having a good look there. There is Etienne Bax, the 82. He and Andre Chomak sweeping into a lead here. Remember, this is qualification. It's all about start places tomorrow. We're also looking for Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard in this one. There is Tim Prumer. Tim Prumer with Rodolphe Le Breton, the number 17 crew, ahead of the Lille Bardis twins. The 101 crew, they are going so well, the 101. Neil Campbell, 721. Rare appearance for him. And Tom van der Lagemat, Han van Hal getting stuck, passenger having to jump out and extricate themselves from the deep stuff. Wilkinson and Millard then, ahead of Kilian Prunier. There's Bax. What a fantastic start he had. Battle here at the front between Wilkinson and Bax. Etienne Bax. Oh, off comes a tear off, a roll off if you like. Plastic lens that covers Wilkinson and Millard, fourth in the championship, and they need to stay well ahead of Justin Kerben and Dion Rietman in the standings, but that will all happen tomorrow in the Grand Prix races. It's Bax, Wilkinson and Lille Bardis. There, the Lille Bardis Latvian twins, right on the back now of Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. Bax, though, not getting away. He's got a gap, something like 3 seconds at the moment. Lille Bardis through into second place, passing Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. So the left-hand chair relegated to third. The Lille Bardis boys honing their craft, improving their technique, gaining in confidence race after race. Oh, a good tight turn on the inside, but unable to get the power down. Brett and Joe. Further down the order, lots going on. There, Neil Campbell, 721. Neil Campbell and Ross Graham. They are the top crew in this part of the world. They're ahead of Romaric Chanteloup. And Sven Visselink, number 19, having a strong ride as well. He and Jens Vincent. And Neil Campbell, not accustomed to racing at this level, but giving a very, very good account of himself, mid-pack at the moment. Having to fight tooth and nail with Visselink. Again, left-hand chair versus right-hand chair. It's very difficult to see where the advantage comes from. First sight of the French Prunier brothers, the number 94 crew. They've come over here to really contest this. Tim Prumer and Rodolphe Le Breton. A good start for them, but they are still behind the Prunier boys. So Tim going well here, and his trademark really has not only been good starts recently, but also consistency. No matter where he finds himself, at any point in the race, he's always battling, he's always fighting. But race leaders, Etienne Bax, Andre Chomak, out in this one. Their lap time 2:11, but good enough for the checkered flag and victory in Quali Group A. Daniel and Bruno Lille Bardis in second place, bringing it home. And who's going to be third? Well, it's Brett and Joe. Brett Wilkinson and Joe. There it is confirmed. That's the top three. Prunier did beat Prumer to the flag. Neil Campbell, 6th. He and Ross Graham. Chanteloup, Visselink, Van der Lagemat, Van der Veld, and Jonathan Wilson, another local boy, 11th. Bastien, a difficult track, but you had a good fight all the way through with Visselink, and who else was in there?
Yeah, for sure. It's it's not arbitrary track you can drive on the GP, but it's the same for all teams. So we need to find some good line and for pass tomorrow, and don't stay too much time on the rear.
Romeric, peut-être demain, beaucoup de boue, hein?
Oui, demain, sûrement beaucoup de boue avec la pluie qui est annoncée, mais on va essayer de faire de bonnes manches et de ramener des gros points.
Vous aimez bien le circuit? C'est difficile ou facile?
Avec la pluie, c'est vraiment pas évident, mais on a quand même un petit peu l'habitude de ce type de terrain en France. On n'est pas lésé, donc j'espère que demain, ce sera quand même un peu plus sec et ce sera plus roulant.
Well, if we get into our spotlight feature, I think we have to treat the next crew as two separate entities rather than a regular team, because it's Gert van Werven, no stranger to any of us. Kelly van Galen is stepping in this weekend because Gert has had passenger problems with injury. Robert de Vena cannot make it this weekend, but good to see you both. Gert, you've been a regular presence in this series since I've been involved, and it seems to me that you absolutely love the sport, despite, dare I say, you might be getting towards looking at retirement.
Yeah, it's now, this year will be my 10th year in Sidecar Motocross World Championship. I've done it a couple more years, but the World Championship for me is 10 years now. And yeah, this will be my final year also. And I look back to a very nice career, and hope to end this year also with a good result and lots of fun. That's for me the key in those years.
And Kenny, as I said, you're standing in this weekend. You too have had a long and distinguished career as a passenger. Do you have a year that jumps out for you as the best?
Yeah, we had many years, 2009, 2010. I started with Adriaanse. There were also good years. The first year I think we were 18. It was good because we had our first year. Second year we were 6, it was good. The year 2012, when I was riding with Willemsen, we had some good results, but half the season I hurt my knee, and then it was over. And then I think 2015 I started with Koen Hermans, and then we started a little bit in the back, but we see him growing. And then, yeah, also for me, every year was a good year. I love the sport and I love riding, but on every good thing comes an end.
And you've ridden with the best. I mean, the names you've just reeled off, they're right there at the top of the sport over many years.
Yeah, many years. 2009 I started, and then 2021 I stopped, and between 2009 2021 I had 2 years off, I think, that I was riding with some different people. And now it was 1 year and 9 months ago of my last race. And then he called me, and then I say, yeah, one time, it's only for one time, then I will do.
So Gert, you've dragged the old boy out of retirement, you know, but you must have huge confidence in him to do that. And on that note, how does it feel when you have a passenger that you haven't maybe ridden with before, or you haven't ridden with for a long time, but you know his quality?
Yeah, for sure. I know Kenny also a long time, and in 2019 when Peter Bunk, my passenger, got injured, I also called Kenny, and he filled in for me 3 races. And from the moment we start riding together, we had a click together, and it worked out very good.
When you give up, if you give up, what lies ahead for you, Gert?
Pool. Yeah, you never know in what kind of gap you will fall, but it don't feel for me to drop the sport immediately. I still feel connected to cyclocross, and I hope one day my son maybe will drive the sidecar also. So yeah, for me, I think I hope to be involved in some kind of way, maybe in cyclocross, but we have to see at the end of the year and in the winter what comes around goes around, we say. But yeah, it's not that I will be disappeared.
I'm very pleased to hear that. Nice to meet you, Kenny. See you here, and good luck for tomorrow, both of you, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Redbrae. We're having a look round Lisbon. Very historic town. Hinch Distillery is here. Very famous, of course, for the whiskey, and no better place to be when the weather's been as wet as it has been. Great scenery, but it got a good soaking overnight. It's been very wet, steeped in history, this part of the world. And the most amazing invention, of course, was the defibrillator by this man, Frank Partridge. Riders' presentation, where the crowd get to meet the FIM and the club officials, all the organisers. Introduced to the crowd, they don't care, they're not deterred, they've got their umbrellas up. A lot of Latvians are here. They come up from the south of Ireland to support the Lille Bardis boys. Heinz Betchart there, Nicola Musset smiling as always. We're getting close to the 2 GP races. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Fans from far and wide and merchandise.
It was a qualifying race victory yesterday for Marvin van Leeuwen and Nicola Musset, so they're obviously at home on this track. But the conditions, Marvin, have changed dramatically. It started to rain at the end of the day yesterday, and it could well rain again today.
Yeah, I heard the bad news about the weather, but yeah, you know, we don't change the weather, so it will be hard condition. I think very slippery, but it's for everyone the same. So yeah, I think we'll be maybe a little bit the lottery, but yeah, we can do just our best and yeah, be careful.
Does the uncertainty about that make you excited or nervous?
Not nervous. I think, like I said already, it's for everyone the same. So you can do just your best, and I think it will be important that you be careful and not too aggressive. I think so. So yeah, we do our best, and hopefully for the best result.
Etienne Bax and Andre Chermak come here to Northern Ireland, 18 points behind Marvin van Leeuwen. But the conditions, Etienne, are something that we've not seen for a long time. Does that bring extra pressure to you?
No, for me not, because yeah, you know, this can be a day that can be an advantage and can be disadvantage. So I'm just super excited, and it will be a surprise day. You know, not a regular day that we, Koen Hermans and Van Leeuwen, will fight for the win. It can be still the same, but it can be completely different. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. So.
And it also offers a lot of opportunity for some of the guys further down the table to score good points.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this is what I say. You know, it will be a very interesting day today, and I'm looking forward to it. Make some fun and see what happens in the mud.
Excited, nervous, or both?
Just excited and hungry.
Well, that's how they line up. Fastest from A and B. Van Leeuwen back. Sanders, Lille Bardis going well. Kerben, Wilkinson and Foden. 2 British riders there. Left-hand chair. Prunier, Hermans. Rounding out the top 10. Heinz Camp. Good for Campbell. Neil Campbell on home ground, of course. And the rest of the guys all fighting on these unpredictable conditions. And down there at the bottom, at the moment anyway, Mike Hodges and Jack Wilkinson. As I say, a lot of Latvian supporters here from the south of Ireland have come up to support the Lille Bardis boys. Amazing number, in actual fact. A good crowd, despite the weather. The Irish crowd not deterred by a bit of dampness. They're used to it. And that's how sticky it is on the start area. Race 1 then, coming up, seconds away. Who's going to get this one? Right in the middle of the grid there. We're looking for Bax. His Bax, I can see Prunier going strongly. Prunier going very strongly, but it's Van Leeuwen. Dan Foden into second place. Van Leeuwen, Lille Bardis boys are there. Interesting stuff that was. What a cracking start. Who's all rolled? Take the green fence for them. They're all mixed up. Chanteloup. That's Brett Wilkinson. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard, apparently upside down, so they are bog last. They'll have to get away from bog last. It's Lille Bardis, then it's Sanders in 4th, then it's Kerben. Bax didn't get the best of starts. There's Hermans, Ben van den Berg up, but Marvin van Leeuwen away with it from Dan Foden, then Lille Bardis, then Sanders, then Kerben. Then, as I say, it's Koen Hermans. Brilliant stuff. Look how muddy and slippery it is. Look how sticky. Tim Prumer there. Tim Prumer looked like Bax behind him. So Etienne Bax having to work for it, but not as hard as Brett Wilkinson from the very back of the grid. Somebody nerfed him out of it, didn't they? Upside down into turn 1. Van Lukenen then leading this one, but having to be ever so careful. They're seeing this track pretty much for the first time. A couple of warm-up laps they had. Some of them didn't even go out. They opted not to get covered in muck and dirt. It's very soft. Kerben then reveling in these conditions. Oh, Sanders in the deep stuff. That's what happens. If you go in too hot, you just slide wide into the deep stuff. Heinzer going round. Coming up over there and over the top, the left-hand chairs. Neil Campbell had a fairly good start, I believe. The Prunier boys, number 94. There is Neil Campbell. 7-2-1. Looking strong here. What a great start for Kerben. What a great start for Van Lukenen. Who have we got there? There's Bax. There's Bax. 82 Bax on the inside of Kerben. It's going to be desperately difficult to get past here. To overtake anybody. There's Gordiev, 151 going through your picture. This rain though really made it slippery. We've had quads here as well on track. Bax there momentarily slowing. Getting bogged down. It's going to have to be so careful here. Look how boggy it is as they come back onto the start-finish straight. Prumer and Rodolphe Le Breton just behind Bax. There they are, the 17 German crew. Bax then behind, stuck in the traffic here. But away at the front, it's Marvin Van Lukenen and Nicolas Musset. Not showboating, but having a clean run. They are absolutely spotless. They've had no mud thrown at them. They got in front from the word go. Oh, Hermans almost stopped. Bax round the outside, taking both Kerben and Hermans. So Etienne Bax, 2 for the price of 1 there. Moving up the order. How far can he get up the order? That's the point. He's trailing the race leader by 18 points coming into this one, and he needs to try and whittle that down if he can. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey, after a cracking start, coming under some pressure now, and the Prunier boys going through. Kylian Evon Prunier, the number 94, Zabel mounted, out in front. Look how clean they are. Not a spot of mud on the red plate. But the Lille Bardis boys are there. Battling through the rest of these guys. Really getting churned up now, this track. Davy Sanders, Luke Rostang, having got out of the deep mud they stuck themselves in. All you've got to do is go wide. You get in that loose stuff, it really bogs you down. Through on the inside, is there a way through on the inside of Stefan Wires? Yes, there is. So Sanders picking up another place there as he makes amends for his misfortune, getting stuck in the mud. Still, these guys, there's still Neil Campbell and Gordiev. They're locked in a battle together, these two now. Neil Campbell, well, fighting hard. What can he do about it, though? He's dropping back further down the order. He and Ross Graham as Gordiev goes by. Gert Gordiev and Ivar van der Wiel. Koen Hermans, Ben van der Wiel. They're pretty clean as well, aren't they? They've not had too much muck chucked at them. One or two of the other crews, though, absolutely filled in. Rip-offs coming off every 10 seconds. There will be none left soon. You don't want to get to the point where you have to take your goggles down, that's for sure. Look at that. It's already cut through to dry, rocky going. I have to say, there's some big stones underneath the mud here. And that's going to be quite interesting when those start coming back. Kerben fighting his way up the order. He was about 5th on lap 1, but he's not had an incident-free race. Look at the stones on the ground. Look, a lot of them. Sharp flints. Tim Prumer going well. Tim Prumer, Rodolphe Le Breton. They're looking pretty clean as well, aren't they? Just a bit of muck on the front panel. The problem is, of course, that's where the cooling radiator is. Don't want to get that full up with stuff. Lille Bardis boys looking good here. Daniel and Bruno Lille Bardis really showing their front end to Marvin van Lukenen. Etienne Bax now coming on and going up to second place. Etienne Bax past Lille Bardis. Where did he come from? Fantastic ride on the inside then. There's the race leader. He's side by side with the race leader. This is about the race victory, and Bax has gone past Van Lukenen. Bax has gone past Van Lukenen into the lead of race 1 here. So he's now taken 3 points out of the champions lead. Or the championship leaders lead. You're looking at the champions currently, defending and reigning champions, as Gordiev respectfully moves to the left. They know how to play the game. Foden all the way down the order now in something like 10th place, but it's victory for Etienne Bax, would you believe it, from 7th or 8th place on the opening lap to take victory from the red plate holder Marvin van Lukenen, and Daniel and Bruno Lille Bardis will bring it home in 3rd spot. What a result for them, ahead of Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart, with Tim Prumer and Rodolphe Le Breton rounding it off in 5th place. Here they come, the German-French pairing, 5th. Confirmation of that, Bax, Van Lukenen and Lille Bardis. You saw that, Hermans, Prumer, Kerben up to 7th, Prunier, good ride for them. Sanders, not bad recovery from the deep stuff. Vyers in 9th. Oh, Daniel, how did that feel? Fighting with the world champion for most of the race. What a race you had.
Yeah, it was an amazing race. That felt great. Yeah, but like 3 laps to go, we made a small crash. That's why we were 20 seconds behind. But yeah, it was a really good race, good start, and everything was perfect.
Have you ridden in these conditions much? Do you get this sort of thing at home, this mud?
Yeah, it's last year all the races were really muddy in Latvia, so yeah, we're used to these conditions. Also, this year it was also a lot of mud in France and everywhere. But yeah, I like the mud, and we ride good in it.
But let's spare a thought for the people who make this event happen.
Kenny Gardner is the FIM Chief Flag Steward for the entire World Championship Series. We're here in home ground. Kenny has been responsible for bringing the GP here to Ireland. Kenny, that must have been a very difficult journey you embarked on, but now you're seeing the fruits.
Yeah, Barry, we have had 4 years. Basically, we were been planning this since 2018, and we've had conversations with Martin Banya from WSC since early 2019, and obviously with COVID and various things basically happening in that time, we have now been able to bring it in 2023.
Apart from running the event itself, what do you hope will happen as a result of getting the first one here in 43 years?
Yeah, well, in 43 years ago, basically we had a World Championship Sidecarcross Grand Prix in Northern Ireland for the first time. And for the catalyst for that was that the sport grew for a number of years, and we had lots of teams basically ride. For this event, basically it's all about building our sport, helping not only the sidecars but hopefully the quads basically to build it, because it is a fantastic sport. I say it's the world's best kept secret, and I still believe that, and I hope that we can do, with the help of WSC and with the hope of with the FIM, we can do big things basically to promote this sport basically around the world.
How big was the team that helped you put this together? Because this is quite a big challenge.
Yeah, our club is not very big. It's a small club. Basically, we have a small knit team, probably in or around 10 people. I have to be thankful to our wives and family, girlfriends, because without them we couldn't have done it, because they're all working here as well. So for that we are grateful. We also have a tarmac section of our club, and they're all here basically supporting us as well through the whole journey. I think we have a huge debt of thanks basically to them.
Well, the rain came down again ahead of race 2. Going to be interesting, but it's rideable. We've seen that. What a race. What can Van Lukenen do this time? He'll be thinking about it. Look at the start straight. Race 2 coming up any minute now. Can Bax and Cermak do the double? Only one way to find out. 30 minutes plus 2 laps then, the gate goes and away, rocketing this side. Marvin van Lukenen looking good. Where's Etienne back? Straight into the lead. Red shirts this time. Round they go. Van Lukenen in second place though. He's in touch. Hermans in third. Koen Hermans number 3. He and Ben van den Bogart very much playing second fiddle this weekend to the two in front of him, and he must be frustrated that he can't close that gap at the top of the championship. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard, much better start this time. Into fourth place. It was damage limitation for them last time, but they made a fist of it. But this time, they've given themselves a fighting chance with a fourth place start. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey there in fifth place, looking good. There, Sanders, always consistent, Davy Sanders, Luke Rostang, but it's Bax at the front of the pack. Away they go, over the top, still slippery. It got a little bit slippery, a bit more rain between the races, but it's still very grippy. It's also showing lots of bumps. Lille Bardis 101 in their very colourful strip ahead of Tim Bruma. Bruma going through on the inside of the Lille Bardis boys. Kerben there ahead of him. Fantastic stuff. There's Foden and Humphrey. Lille Bardis, they're just getting stronger and stronger, these kids. Just 17 years of age, I remind you. Tim Bruma, 24 years of age. Another young team who are going so strongly and putting Germany on the map once again in the world of sidecar motocross. Back to the halcyon days when, of course, the very first World Championship was won by Reinhard Böhler, German, and that really set the trend for sidecar motocross in Germany. It's gone a bit weak in recent years, but Bruma, I think, is signalling a renaissance in German sidecar motocross. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard leading a convoy of outfits round here. Baxo at the front, Van Lukenen going with him, not letting him get away. Marvin knows he can ride this track. And ride it, he can. He's gone through on the inside of Etienne Bax. So, honours even now. He's in front again. So, Marvin van Lukenen, Etienne Bax, side by side. The back end of Bax's bike sliding across under power as he made that big husky punch out of that bend. But Van Lukenen has gone ahead. And this is not what Etienne Bax needs, because he's now seeing things whittled away here. And now Koen Hermans, Ben van den Bogart, another threat to Bax. Meanwhile, Van Lukenen is away at the front. Bax is having to defend that second place now from a very determined Koen Hermans. And Van Lukenen is out of sight. This is not what Etienne Bax wants. A little kick backwards there from Andre Chomak. Caught that jump a bit stiff-legged, and that happens. And if you do, you can easily get thrown out. But Hermans, number 3. Ben van den Bogart, vastly experienced. Oh, there's Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey, sidelined, got a problem there. Davy Sanders and Lille Bardis still locked in this tooth and nail fight. Lille Bardis boys, so strong, and they've got Kuban as well. Justin Kerben and Dion Rietman, and the Lille Bardis boys, and out in front still is Brett Wilkinson in front of these guys anyway. So Brett Wilkinson ahead of Lille Bardis and Kerben, who's running inside, but Kerben is now on it again. He's back on Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard. Oh, who's that gone upside down? Sanders in more trouble. Sanders, Luke Rostang. The front end went in, the back end kicked up. They were nearly over the handlebars, and there Bruma and Ronald Le Breton gone past. Race leaders, Van Lukenen and Nicolas Mousset. The French passenger, always smiling, as I've said so many times. They're also doing the French Championship, which has given them a very full 2023 calendar indeed. As if it's not full enough, but a victory will do for them as they go past a lapped Stuart Brown. Bax claiming second place, so reversing his victory in race 1, and Van Lukenen claiming it back. It's going to be Hermans and Ben van den Bogart to take third place. Not what they would have wanted, but ahead of Brett Wilkinson. Confirmation, Van Lukenen, Bax, Hermans, Wilkinson, Lille Bardis, Bruma, Sanders, Vyers, Brown and Cooper. That's, even though they were a lap adrift, they've claimed 9th place. Well, that gives overall victory and third place for Hermans, second place for Bax. Koen Hermans, Ben van den Bogart, third overall.
Well, we did not have so much problems, only on the Saturday, but that was fixed for the Sunday. But yeah, for me and Ben it was a difficult track. We couldn't find a good rhythm, so yeah, I think we must be happy with the podium this weekend.
And next weekend we're going somewhere we've never been before yet again, so hoping for better luck there.
Yeah, for sure, we will do our best.
Well, let's hear back to Andre Chermak. Come out of Ireland exactly the same level on points that they went into it, so they've got to do it all over again when we move on to the next round next weekend.
It was a hard race, but we had a good start, we had a whole shot, and then we cannot take a good rhythm to be faster enough than to Marvin, but we make a mistake, a lot of mistake during the all heat, and that was the reason why he took the big gap to us. And in the finish of the race we cannot close, maybe 2-3 seconds to close him, but it's not enough what we need.
Overall victory then, Van Lucke and Nicolas Musset, thrilled with that, and why not? So they should be. Look at that body language.
Every week is the goal is stay come back on the top of the box, the podium, and yeah, we did it this weekend. Was hard. Finally we come back on the best place, and yeah, and the second race was the start was not so bad. Second behind Etienne, and he make a mistake, and then we take the lead, and after that the lap time was I think we are a bit faster than him. And then, yeah, we have a gap enough to not control, but not come back. And then, yeah, was a good race. Finally, overall win, and yeah, the team is happy about this.
Well, still that 18-point gap at the top. Hermans then still playing catch-up. Got a bit of work to do. Brett Wilkinson maintaining that advantage over Justin Kerben. Lil Bardis, Sanders, Brummer, Heinzer. These guys all get my utmost admiration. Nothing more I can say other than what a great Grand Prix you gave us in Northern Ireland. Fantastic. We move on now to Cusses Gorse in Salisbury in England, in Wiltshire, right down there, close to the West Country. So as we move away from Northern Ireland, just make sure you join us next weekend at Cusses Gorse. It's going to be fantastic. From me, Barry Nutley, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
We never stop, so going when you finish. And even when we bleed, still believe that we can win this. We got what's underneath, you're all about that image. We never even stop at the top, no limits. Champions, we're the champions. And we're the champions. And we're the champions. So bring it on.
Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lucke certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.